Hey there, guys. This is Robin Hood and Superman Guy, and today we are bringing you the last match that we are going to show from round one of the Napoleon Total War subscriber tournament. And Zuper, why don't you go ahead and introduce us to the contestants in this one?
All right, so in this match, we have JohannesVb playing as Russia, and across the field, you'll see Great Britain controlled by Justthetip 127. So it's another great name. We've seen a few of those.
Yeah, and this is the Preeney's Peak, I believe is the name.
Yeah.
Yeah, Preeney's Peak map. As you can see, snowy. So Russia definitely fits in here, but this map is dominated by this large central hill. And I like this one because, well, there is a large hill in the middle of the map. It is large enough that, like, if both armies get up here, it's actually a pretty flat battle. But there's just a lot of terrain and interesting ways you can move up. Britain could move up over this hill on the right and have a pretty easy advance. It's just overall an interesting map.
Yeah, I'd really love to see both armies get to the top of this hill and then fight through this town.
Yeah. Anyways, though, why don't you go ahead and cover Johanna's Russian army for us?
All right, so on the Russian right, we have a unit of Lifeguard Foot, to their right, a unit of Semenovsky Lifeguard, and to their right, a unit of Straight Musketeers. Behind them, two units of Cossack Cavalry. And Johannes actually brought a historical general. He brought Count von Bennigsen. Why not? And beyond that, he's got two units of mounted rifles, and those are probably going to play a very big role. And in front of those, he's got three units of Russian Jaegers. Behind those, three units of Musketeers. Then two separate units of Uhlans. Those are some Lancer cavalry. And to their left, two more units of Russian Jaegers, and a unit of Moscow Musketeers, and a unit of normal Musketeers.
Yep, and just on the historical general note, I like his mustache. There's a nice big close-up of his face.
It's a good mustache.
That will play a pivotal role in this battle, clearly.
Undoubtedly.
Anyways, immediately here, Johannes is going to start moving his Russian troops up this hill. So while he's doing that, we will take a look at the British army. And leading the charge for them, we have some King's German Legion Light Dragoons, two units of them in the middle, and farther to the British left, a Dragoon unit, actually two of those as well. So that looks like the cavalry for Great Britain. Infantry-wise, up front here we have some foot units, probably several of them. Looks like I'm counting at least six there, followed by two light foot units, make that three, and then somewhere there were some King's German Legion light foot. Yep, there's one of them. I believe he actually has two King's German Legion light foot. And then there's a King's German Legion foot unit, and he has two of those as well. And then in the back he has an 88th Foot Connaught Rangers and a Foot Guard, and then a standard general staff. So that is his entire force. There's the other King's German Legion light foot that I was talking about. And so what's going on with the cavalry at the moment?
So as I mentioned, the mounted rifles are already playing a role just in harassing Justthetip's Dragoons. They got off a couple volleys and then immediately retreated and took no fire.
Yeah, and it looks like he had them supported with Cossack cavalry, so Britain's just gonna move behind the hill here to protect them from the incoming fire. Meanwhile, it looks like this left hill is being kind of fortified here by the British troops, and then below this massive hill, he has seemed to set up on this slight little ridge. This is an interesting position choice. It is an open field of fire, and he will get the first shot if Johannes moves down it, but he is allowing Russia to pretty much set up on top of this larger ridge.
What do you think of this defensive strategy?
Britain has good troops. Not that Russia doesn't, and Russia does better on these snow-cold maps. Actually, they get a bonus. I believe it's just they don't tire as quickly. Just like the Ottomans don't have a heat fatigue on like the pyramids map and stuff.
Right.
But this position could be good. He's definitely going to get the first shot. It depends on how Russia approaches it. If I were him right now, while there's still time, he's got a good presence up on this left hill, and I would have tried to shift a little bit more that way, maybe kind of wrap around farther into those trees so it would be a little bit more even, but it's definitely manageable. He is sacrificing the high ground, but he will be getting off the first volleys, and as I said, the British troops are just straight out good.
Right. So who do you think has a skirmishing advantage here?
I believe both people have 5 skirmisher unit. These Russian Jaegers, yeah, he's got 5 of them, and then there were a mix of Lightfoot and King's German Legion Lightfoot. I have 3 Lightfoot, 2 King's German Legion Lightfoot, and those units are basically identical. The difference is the green uniforms on the King's German Legion Lightfoot.
Uh-huh.
And there's actually slightly more of a difference than that, but it's like overall firing statistically, they're pretty much the exact same unit.
I see.
So it's pretty even. I do believe, I think the Russian skirmishers actually might be slightly better, but again, it's very, very even. So at the moment, no one.
I see. But what do you think about the addition of the Russian mounted rifles?
Those are going to help. They don't have the range of a skirmishing unit, but they definitely can be used like skirmishers on flanks and stuff with the hit and run. But
Right.
anyways, it looks like the engagement is starting up on this hill on the Russian right. And we've got the Semenovsky Lifeguard, a Lifeguard Foot, and a Musketeer unit, along with this 1 Russian Jaeger pushing against a King's German Legion Lightfoot, and the 2 Kings, or 1 of the King's German Legion Foot units, and a Foot.
And Russia actually has 2 units of musketeers posted up on the trees, right on the British left.
On the British left?
British
Oh,
left.
is there 2 units?
It seems so.
I see
Oh, maybe not. That
1.
could be insane.
Yeah, 1,
I'm
and
insane.
then the Lifeguard unit.
Right.
Those lifeguards did a good move there. They moved up, fired a volley, and managed to move back without taking a loss. And right now, these King's German Legion Foot and this Musketeer unit are fighting it out. It looks like the Musketeer is getting the slightly better end of this, but it's pretty even. The King's German Legion Foot is a better unit, though the Musketeers have the trees and the support of other units, including those Cossack cavalry right behind them if he chooses to use them.
All right. So, given the whole positioning here, British is back on British army is back on their heels.
Yeah.
What do you think they could do to really turn this in their favor?
Well, right now there's a cavalry charge, and those foot units did not manage to get into square, so that's going to hurt. He's responding with dragoons. I think, like I said at the beginning, I'd start pushing somewhere, maybe up this left hill, but that would be splitting him off. I would really probably get those reserve units, the foot guards and the Connaught Rangers, up on this hill, because you've got 2 lifeguard units essentially pushing on you, and those mounted rifles and stuff. You don't have any elite units to really respond to that, so you're pretty even numbers-wise, so you're just outmatched unit-wise, and
Right.
the rest of the line is pretty stagnant at the moment, and Russia, you know, they have a large arc around the British, so they are more spread out. You can see their units are a lot more stretched, so his other units should technically be able to hold while he tries to fix that flank at the moment.
Uh-huh.
And it looks like we've got these lifeguard going into melee with this foot unit, and that is going to be something that the lifeguard will definitely win, especially since Russia, the Russian units are very good on the charge.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to fight a Russian hand-to-hand.
Probably not. Depends. Certainly not Putin. Actually, you know what? I think I might want to fight Putin hand-to-hand, just because I could say I fought Vladimir Putin hand-to-hand. But that has no relevance to this battle, so...
I don't know. He's got that Russian ancestry.
True. Anyways, Russia
He could
is...
be related to Count von Bennigsen.
Perhaps. But, Russia's pushing on this hill now, and notice those mounted rifles. That was a clever move there. He rushed them forward, but never actually clicked an attack order, so it forced those King's German Legion foot into a square, and then these mounted rifles got out basically unscathed. 2 men lost, and that put those Legion foot out of position, and they've now taken pretty heavy losses as a result of that.
So it seems like the Russians are beginning to wrap around on the Russian right flank.
Yeah, he's got the musketeers pushing out, the lifeguard units. He brought in one more musketeer unit, as you said. His generals over there, and then these mounted rifles are both firing. And you can see that mounted rifle getting an excellent charge into the rear of these foot guards. So
Yeah.
Britain did bring up the foot guards, but that's going to hurt, and that's stopping them from firing while they are taking fire from the front.
Yeah, those mounted rifles have been wreaking havoc.
Yeah, and it looks like at this point, he's pretty committed to this charge. To pull those guys out is going to be more hurtful than helpful, so he's probably going to leave them in. Those
Right.
foot guards deciding that melee charge is the way to go, and they are fighting the Semenovsky lifeguard and taking fire at the same time. And I don't know that much about the Semenovsky lifeguard. They are a DLC unit, so I'm not sure. I mean, clearly they won that melee there, but the foot guards were taking fire and had just been rear charged, so I don't know actually who would have won that. But the Russians came out there, and this light dragoon unit getting chewed up.
Yeah, the King's German Legion light dragoons had made a good move and charged the Russian musketeers there, but the musketeers made a truly adorable square to fight it.
Look at it. It's all broken. There's one guy in the middle of it, but yeah, those mounted rifles are also helping with that, and he's got the lifeguard in the back.
Yeah.
It looks like the center has now opened up an engagement. Russia seems to feel that they're making good gains on the right, which they are, on the Russian right, that is. So they are extending this combat, and tying down these troops in the center is pretty nice. Now, like I said earlier, this position really isn't that terrible for Britain. They did get the first shot, and they already routed the Jaegers that came down up front. And these musketeers are taking pretty heavy fire as well from multiple units. If I was Britain, I probably would have put these Lightfoot up front into a skirmish formation, though.
Uh-huh.
That would have made them a little, more resilient to gunfire.
Right. And now it seems the Russian left is actually starting to engage as well.
Yep, we've got some Russian Jaegers moving up and firing, and those guys have the high ground, and they're in skirmish formation, so they're not going to die very quickly. In the end, they would probably lose to the foot and the light foot, but they've got a good position, and they've got support. These Moscow musketeers moving up, and musketeers firing in on the flank of this light foot. So again, I probably would have put all of these units into skirmish formation, but now we've got an Ulan charge, and these Lightfoot can't do square, so this is gonna hurt. And there they go. That is definitely gonna finish off that Lightfoot unit.
Oh,
What do
and
we
he's
have going
carrying that
on the
charge
left?
straight into the foot.
And also the general staff getting hit from behind by an Ulan unit, half of them dropping on the charge there. Cavalry charges everywhere right now, actually. Those mounted rifles coming in and smashing into this foot unit. And all this cavalry, even if it doesn't win, it's buying time for the Russian units to move up without taking fire.
Yeah, all in all, the Johannes with his Russian cavalry has made tremendous use of his army.
Yeah, and that Russian right is still pushing. If I come over here, you can see just by the bodies, the line of advance pushing all the way up over this hill, and now they're firing into these King's German Legion light dragoons. And the British center has been shattered by cavalry charges, as well as the Russian infantry pushing down the hill. This unit of foot getting charged by Ulans and a Moscow musketeer.
And there's not really anything that could withstand that.
Nope, not at this point. Not without support. It looks like that's pretty much all that's left of Britain. Some of these units, the British troops do have good morale, and this unit was 64 men and 85. They definitely just got taken out by the morale penalties of being surrounded, but they could come back, and it looks like this 88th Connaught Ranger has come back, and they're going to turn to fight Count von, what's his name? Benningsen. Let's see if we can find him in the combat. There he is, with his mustache, which is clearly the reason he is going to win this.
Yeah, that mustache has claimed a great many lives today. And
that is going to be it. So, very good games to both players. Johannes, that was a very, very good use of a Russian army and its natural habitat there. And look at that, both players deploying the exact same amount of troops, 1,728. And then just the tip, very good game to you too. Thank you for participating in the tournament. Hope to see you in a later one.
And congratulations to Johannes. We'll be seeing you in the next round.
Yep, those, as expected, the Lifeguard foot for him and the Semenovsky Lifeguard getting the most kills there, 135 and 124. They were in combat the entire battle. They started it and they ended it as well. Those mounted rifles doing well too, 101 kills.
Yeah, those mounted rifles really did a number on the British line in a number of locations.
Yeah, and overall for, that was a pretty even battle until the end when all the Russians came down the hill. I think if just the tip had maybe not surrendered the hill as early, or maybe moved more to the left, or even when he initially deployed had moved up that hill on his right, terrain-wise he wouldn't have been as bad off. But you never know with these games. He did, even though he was on the downhill, it was in some ways a good position.
I would have liked to see just the tip be a little more aggressive and try in some places to break the Russian line.
Yeah, they were thin in some places. Everything's risk and reward in this type of a game, but...
Oh, most definitely.
Once again, great game to both players, and quick note, the other matches in round one, certain people had to drop out, so we had certain players win by forfeit. So round two will be taking place pretty much when this video is uploaded, and we will have the battles from that coming in for you guys soon. So everyone you saw will win in these videos, you will see again, along with like 2 other people. So I think that's it. Anything else?
Have a good day.
Yeah. See you guys later. Thank you for watching.